It is 3 a.m., and while everyone else is fast asleep, your brain is wide awake and busy. It has decided to replay that one awkward thing you said to a stranger 3 years ago. You are cringing under the covers, wishing you could go back in time and just stay quiet. If this sounds like your life, don't worry. This video understands you perfectly right now. You aren't crazy or weird. Your brain is just doing a job it wasn't designed for. In psychology, we call this hyper-vigilance, but you can just call it a broken alarm. Your brain thinks that a social mistake is as dangerous as being attacked by a lion. It keeps replaying the mistake because it wants to make sure you never do it again. This is the control trap, where your mind thinks that thinking more means being safer. But you can't think your way out of a feeling, no matter how hard you try. It's like trying to put out a fire by staring at it and shouting, "Stop it," really loud. Your inner bodyguard is just trying to protect you, but it's doing a really bad job. It has you redlining your mental engine while you are just trying to lay in your bed. The exhaustion you feel isn't because you're lazy. It's because your mind is running a marathon. By the end of this, you'll know why your brain chooses this exhausting autopilot mode. We are going to look at the safety loop that keeps you stuck in these mental circles. It's time to understand why your anxious supercomputer is so obsessed with the past. You don't need to be fixed. You just need to understand the why behind the noise. Get ready to meet the part of your brain that is actually trying to be your best friend. Let's look at the science of why your mind refuses to just be quiet and let you sleep. Your brain has a setting called the default mode network, or what I call autopilot brain. This is the part of your mind that takes over when you aren't focused on a specific task. For overthinkers, this autopilot is stuck in a loop of analytical rumination. That's a fancy way of saying your brain is trying to logic its way through a feeling. It believes that if it analyzes a problem 1,000 times, the 1,001st time will be the cure. But overthinking isn't actually about solving problems. It's about avoiding discomfort. It is much easier to think about why you are sad than it is to actually be sad. You use your thinking mind as a shield to stay away from your feeling body. But shields are heavy, and carrying them all day is why you feel so decision fatigued. Decision fatigue is when your brain is so tired it can't even pick what to eat for dinner. You are looking for certainty, a 100% guarantee that things will turn out perfectly. But life doesn't come with guarantees, and your brain hates that more than anything. The more you look for a safe spot, the more you realize that life is always changing. Your overthinking is like trying to build a bridge across an ocean using only your thoughts. It's an impossible job, and that is why you feel so drained and overwhelmed all the time. But here is the hook you might have missed. You don't actually need that bridge. You are already okay right now, even without having all the answers to your life. Real self-awareness isn't about thinking more. It's about learning to watch the thoughts. You can be the observer who watches the clouds pass without trying to grab them. Let's move on to why you are so worried about what everyone else thinks of you. A huge part of overthinking is what we call social mirroring or mind reading. This is when you try to guess what everyone else is thinking about you at all times. You are trying to see yourself through their eyes to make sure you look perfect. This is a tribal survival skill. Your brain wants to make sure you aren't kicked out. But trying to please everyone is a psychological trap that you can never actually win. When you overthink your behavior, you become incongruent, which just means fake. People can feel when you are performing instead of just being, and it feels off. Your hidden agenda of being perfect actually makes people pull away from you. This triggers your brain to think even more, creating a loop of social anxiety. You are suffering from hyper-responsibility, thinking you must control everyone's mood. But you are just a guest star in their lives, not the main character of their movie. They are way too busy overthinking their own lives to spend much time judging yours. Realizing this is like a safety net that lets you finally stop the mental spinning. You can stop being a social chameleon and start being a solid human being. A solid human doesn't change who they are just because someone gave them a look. If you've been ghosting your own life because you're too scared of being judged, stop. The invisible wall isn't built by them. It's built by your own relentless standards. You don't need to be polished to be loved. You just need to be present and real. The world doesn't need your perfect version. It just wants the real, messy you. Let's look at the roadmap to finally closing those mental tabs for good today. To stop the noise, you have to move from content to process in your own mind. Don't worry about what the thought says. Just notice that you are having a thought. In metacognition, or thinking about thinking, we treat thoughts like background noise. Just because your brain says, "You're a failure," doesn't mean it's an external truth. It's just a neural spark, like a sneeze or a hiccup that your brain is having. You move from fighting the thought to radical presence with your own self. This is the different game that happy people play, acceptance over analysis. When a scary thought pops up, ask yourself, is this thought actually helpful right now? If the answer is no, you have permission to drop the ball and move on with your day. You are moving from functional freeze to active flow by choosing action. You cannot think your way out of overthinking. You have to act your way out. Do one small thing in the real world to break the digital loop of your mind. Wash a dish, take a walk, or just name the feeling out loud to quiet the alarm. This is the roadmap to integration that turns a scared brain into a strong mind. You are the director of your own story, not just the editor of your mistakes. Knowing the answer is much less important than living the moment right now. The next time your brain tries to drag you back to the past, tell it you're busy. You are not your overthinking. You are the space where the thoughts happen. And that space has always been perfectly okay and safe, just as it is right now. If this made you feel understood, you're ready for our next deep dive into the mind. Until then, keep observing, keep breathing, and keep being the real, simple you.